That's a couple of minutes of, space that I don't have to re-edit out. Okay. You've got your demographic analysis and your situational analysis. You know what your audience is about and your space is about. You've got your central idea. You've got your purposes. You should have your 3 main points. What's left to get ready for speaking? What's left? What do you have to do? Research. An important part of this is research. And I'm going to pick a little bit on Ashley, not really pick on Ashley, but I'm going to point out to you what Ashley has done. Ashley has a topic that she's consulted with her doctor about, her physician. She's going to be telling you about a treatment style, right, for a specific problem, and she has talked to her doctor. That is one form of research, the personal interview. So you may be good about your topic, but you may want to talk to someone who is a genuine expert. You can do it by phone. You can do it face-to-face. However you want to do it. The personal interview is a good research source. Ashley also has a book, not an internet source, a book all about this topic. She's going to consult the book. There are 2 bits of research. Are books more reliable than internet sources? What do you mean, Mary? Use those databases. Otherwise, if it's just a plain old website, it might be good, it might not. Definitely going to have a particular point of view that you may not be aware of. Use those social science and other databases in our library. If you don't know how to use them, ask the librarian. The librarians are more than happy to help you find them. The problem that most often I hear from people when they get to those is, I tried and nothing came up. There were no articles about my topic. And if I ask, so what search words, what keywords did you use? They use only the keywords that they've thought of. Well, others might not think of the same keywords that you do, so you need to find synonyms. Other information may be embedded in articles that are not directly related to your topic, so you need to be able to look at synonymous sources, at articles that are closely related but may not be directly related to your topic. In addition to the databases, you can also go to LexisNexis. LexisNexis is a comprehensive listing of newspaper articles. Newspaper articles are not original research. Newspapers don't do research projects. They report on research projects. Newspapers don't give you the facts alone. Sometimes they give you the facts with opinion. So you have to be able to sort out the difference between the facts and the facts with opinion, between research reported on and the actual research. And you're always better if you go to the actual research instead of the report, but sometimes that may not be available to you. The internet, just internet sites, probably not reliable. Books are not necessarily more reliable than those kinds of internet sites. Why would you take a book as being more reliable than an internet database? It's been published. And we have this tendency to think somebody has vetted this, somebody has checked it out, somebody has corrected it. Well, David Brock wrote a biography of Clarence Thomas. He wrote it and it was published as a book. He now says, most of what I said about Clarence Thomas in my book was made up. It had no basis in fact. So just because it's in a book does not mean that it's automatically a more reliable source. Some book publishers are not terribly reliable. In general, books you find in our library are going to be more reliable than books you might buy just at Borders or some other places where nobody has vetted it for its reliability. So that's a third source. You can use or the second source. You can use personal interview, you can use books, newspapers, online. What's your third source of information? Well, Ashley is actually doing this treatment. That's her third source of information. Her own body is telling her how this treatment is working or not working. Your own experience is a source of information, particularly if you are reporting upon the experience's effect on you. You are the expert on you. No one else is the expert on you, because no one else knows what it feels like when you have allergic reaction or a cold. Only you can describe that for us. No one else knows what's going on in your head. And God knows some of us don't want to know. Okay? You are the expert on you. So those are three sources. Your speech needs to have three sources. Now, if you're talking about personal experience, your citation is obvious. If you're talking about your doctor, an interview with somebody, how do you tell us that you've interviewed somebody and that they're credible? That you're going to do it orally, and you're going to tell us that you've interviewed somebody and that they're a credible source. How are you going to tell us that? Doctor so-and-so, and I talked to them when? I talked to them last week, I talked to them yesterday. Just as in your paper, I want your observation to have a timestamp or a way of telling me, I did this on this day, which validates the idea that this is recent. So your research needs to have that kind of timestamp. Recent research is very important. So I talked to my doctor. When did you talk to your doctor? Oh, 2 years ago. What's the problem with I talked to my doctor about this 2 years ago? And what happens in 2 years' time? Everything changes, and I forget what he actually told me or she actually told me. I talked to him yesterday. You're less likely to forget. You're still capable of forgetting. If I went to my doctor to talk about this problem so that I could present it in the speech, what am I likely to have done? Made notes. Been careful about it. Okay? All of that enhances your credibility. How do you cite a book to show us that it's a credible source? Include the book in your presentation, but what do you tell us about the book?
The author.
Tell us the author. What do you tell us about the author? If he's like a specialist or she's like a specialist in her field. What else do you have to tell us about the book?
How old it is.
How old it is. Those are the only three things orally for a book that you need to give me. The author's name and credentials, the title if it's a book, and how old the book is. There are lots of ways you can do that. You can do it according to the 1977 book, Experiences in Groups, by Wilfred Bion. It's a 1941 book. And according to the 1941 book, Experiences in Groups by Wilfred Bion, one of the pioneers in the study of group dynamics, okay? You can put it at the end. It always feels a little clumsy when people go, la da 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 da. That's according to. It feels a little clumsy. It's a little more elegant to put it at the beginning. You can also use things like, as Dr. Jack Lunt once said in his book, Meet Me in the Jungle, 1928. Right? Those kinds of things. Get it in there. All of that is evaluated on the speech rubric. If I don't hear it, you lose points. It is, in effect, the same thing that you're doing when you're writing a paper. If you don't put things in quotes, you don't put in citation, you're plagiarizing. You may not mean to, and I don't consider it that people mean to do it, but I can't give you points for not doing what I want you to do. I want you to tell me where you got this stuff. What about an online, a website? What should you tell me about a website? When it was updated is important. The author, if you can find it. The URL. You don't need to give us the whole URL. In contest speaking, you have to give the whole URL and when you last were there. For our speech, you tell us the name of the website, the author of the website, when it was last updated, if you can find that. Otherwise, when you last visited. You don't have to give us the whole URL. You need to be ready with the URL if people in the class want to know about it. But you don't have to give us all of it. The database, treat like it was a book. Give us the author's name, the title of the article, the title of the journal from which it's taken, and the year of publication. Make sure you always credential the author. This is all part of our ethics in speaking. We owe some things to our sources when we're speakers. We owe some things to our audience when we're speakers. What do we owe to our audience when we are a speaker? Excuse me? The truth. This is the big one. The truth. Tell the truth. Remember, one of the maxims of conversation is that we tell the truth as far as we know it. But sometimes things do have points of view, don't they? You have a point of view on life, right? And is yours the same as Susanna's? No. You have a point of view on politics, don't you? You would probably vote for what party? Neither party. You would vote independent, right? Susanna, you would probably vote Republican. If I know that up front, if it's a political issue, I can take that under advisement. Do Republicans have all the truth? No. Do Democrats have all the truth? No. Do Democrats have any of the truth? Yeah. Do Republicans have some of the truth? Yeah. It's a different perspective on life. Let me know what the perspective is. Do independents have any of the truth? Oh, I don't know. All right. So, our ethics include telling the truth, letting our perspective be known, and third, make it interesting. You are taking away 7 minutes of everyone's life.
And they're never going to get it back.
And they will never get it back. Make it worth their while. They are giving you 7 minutes of their life. Make it worth their while.
Do we need to have these memorized?
No.
Okay.
On Thursday, we'll be talking about delivery technique. We'll be trying some things out. And then next Tuesday, you'll get a chance to try lots out. Memorization is not recommended. But you can if you wish, but I don't recommend it. So we will see you Thursday. Leave me, please, your situational analysis and your specific